Member from Halton, Norfolk.
The Prime Minister has lost control of spending in his cabinet. The Liberals are about to smash through a $40 billion deficit guardrail. The media is reporting that the Prime Minister is forcing inflationary spending on Canada's first female finance minister by forcing her to break through the $40 billion deficit guardrail and pushing our country over a fiscal cliff. Everybody knows that Mark Carney is the de facto finance minister. So why is this Prime Minister bullying the first female finance minister and forcing her to take the fall?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Public Safety.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think what we're seeing here today is Conservatives trying to make feminism great again, but what they actually do is they don't elect women to their party. The leader actually uses misogynistic hashtags that promote violence against women. Mr. Speaker, they don't support reproductive health care for women. They want to ban abortion health care for women. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to feminism, it's pretty clear Conservatives are struggling, and this seems like a fight they don't want to take with us.
Order. The Honourable Member for Halton, Norfolk.
Mr. Speaker, feminism will always be great when there's no tokenism. The hypocrisy of this Prime Minister knows no bounds. He lectures everybody else about progress, saying women's rights and women's progress are
À l'ordre, s'il vous plaît.
Order, please.
The Honourable Member from Halton, Norfolk. Please start again.
Mr. Speaker, feminism will always be great when there's no tokenism. The hypocrisy of this Prime Minister knows no bounds. He lectures everyone else about progress, saying women's rights and women's progress are under attack. My question for this Prime Minister is, will he park his hypocrisy and stop attacking the rights of women in his own caucus? Is this fake feminist Prime Minister going to really bully Canada's first female finance minister and have her read Carbon Tax Carney's update on Monday?
The Honourable Minister for Crown Indigenous Services. For Indigenous Services.
That member is fully endorsed by the anti-abortion organizations that look for candidates, indeed a full 40 of them over there, that bully women when they want to make choices about their own reproductive freedom. Mr. Speaker, it's a little bit rich for members of Parliament from the opposition to get up and stand up, say they stand up for women, when on the backside, they're working as hard as they can to restrict women's freedom in this country.
The Honourable Member for Calgary Forest Lawn.
The Prime Minister lost control of spending in his cabinet. He sent this spending spat spiralling out of control, forcing his finance minister to smash through her $40 billion deficit guardrail promise. He then solidified his fake feminist credentials by appointing Carbon Tax Carney as the de facto finance minister after using her. Even the PBO confirmed they smashed through their $40 billion deficit guardrail by at least $6 billion. Will the Prime Minister confirm the deficit is not a penny over $46 billion?
And ask members not to make noises. There's actually rules in this place for us not to be slamming desks anymore. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary. I'm certain the Honourable Member had finished his question. Yes, he had. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance.
It seems that we've lost a quorum in the House, Mr. Speaker, in part because the Conservatives have been attacking female elected representatives, women in this House who represent women and men across the country proudly, Mr. Speaker. If the Conservatives are really interested in asking questions of the economy, I do have answers for them. Yesterday, the Bank of Canada lowered interest rates yet again, making it easier on Canadians to buy a new home, making it easier on families that need to renew their mortgage, making it easier on Canadians that have loans, Mr. Speaker. We're keeping our eye on the ball. We're keeping our eye on the interests of Canadians.
The honourable member for Calgary, Forest Lawn.
The last time the bank dropped 50 basis points on the interest rate was 9/11, the global financial crisis, and COVID. And carbon tax Carney's comeback fueled his fiscal feud further. The weak Prime Minister used the Finance Minister to rack up debt, and now he's going to replace another female minister, but this time with Davos elite carbon tax Carney. All of this just to smash through his $40 billion deficit guardrail and drive Canada's finances off a fiscal cliff. Once again, will the Prime Minister confirm the deficit won't be a penny past $46 billion?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
Listening to the Conservatives today, you would think that the Conservative Party of Canada wanted interest rates to be higher, Mr. Speaker. You would think that the Conservatives want inflation to be higher, Mr. Speaker, listening to their talking points today in the House of Commons. Mr. Speaker, we have invested in Canadians and we have invested wisely. We have ensured that 110,000 more Canadian women have entered the workforce thanks to our early learning and childcare program. This has saved families nearly 30% in childcare, but it has also created $32 billion of greater wealth in our economy. Mr. Speaker, we are growing the economy and we're doing it wisely.
The Honourable Member for Portneuf-Jacques-Cartier. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sorry, my apologies. Order, please. The Honourable Member for Portneuf-Jacques-Cartier. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Prime Minister, this fake feminist Prime Minister, is out of control. Time to take stock. He's lost control of immigration. He's lost control of the management of public funds. He's lost control of his own ministers. And now he's bickering with his finance minister. She's already plunging Canada deep into a huge deficit, but the Prime Minister says we can always go deeper. He even plans to replace her with Mark Carney, a non-elected official, if she doesn't do what he wants. On Monday, will the minister present her economic statement or Mark Carney's? The Honourable Minister for National Revenue. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What's absolutely disgusting in the discourse we're hearing today, like calling the Prime Minister a fake feminist when he has shown umpteen times that he is a real feminist, while they, on the other side, the Prime Minister has been committed to equality, to women, to the rights of women in many ways. What they are doing across the way, these people that love petty politics by putting hashtag to attract misogynist men, what they are doing is showing full disdain for the Minister for Finance.
Alors, j'ai demandé au...
Order. I would like to tell the member for Portneuf-Jacques-Cartier that he's had a chance to ask his question. I asked people to quiet down so they could listen to his question, and I would ask him to do the same for others and to not take the floor unless he's been recognized by the chair.
L'honorable député de Chicoutimi.
The honourable member for Chicoutimi-Le-Fjord. Mr. Speaker, this Prime Minister has lost control of his finances and his cabinet. We all know that there's a fiscal feud between the finance minister and the Prime Minister. She promised Canadians that the deficit would not exceed $40 billion, which was her fiscal guardrail. When you smash through a guardrail, it's too late to break. You just end up falling off the cliff. Will the Prime Minister promise that the deficit will not exceed $40 billion?
L'honorable secrétaire parlementaire.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Finance. the Conservatives seem to be asking about the economy, Mr. Speaker, but actually they are desperately trying to deny the fact that yesterday the Bank of Canada reduced interest rates in order to help Canadians, Mr. Speaker. That's great news. That will make life more affordable for families that need to renew their mortgage. It will also let our SMEs and entrepreneurs have lower costs and will help young people who are aiming to buy their first home. The Honourable Member for Chicoutimi-Le-Fjord. Mr. Speaker, this Prime Minister has completely lost control of spending, and he's lost control of his cabinet. He's bringing in radical spending increases and is sacrificing his own Minister of Finance, and he, in fact, wants to replace her by a man by the name of Mark Carney, who has not even been elected. Canadians have already fallen victim to this government's disastrous mismanagement, and now they will be paying for the deficit. Can the Prime Minister confirm that the deficit will not exceed $40 billion? The Honourable Minister of Fisheries and Oceans. Mr. Speaker, we've already answered that question, but what I'd like to know, Mr. Speaker, we on this side of the House have brought in actual programs to support women. How is it that the Conservative Party has voted against investment in programs like our programs to support seniors, for example, when we know that women tend to live longer than men? They voted against programs for childcare. They voted against school lunch programs, Mr. Speaker. They voted against dental care. And they're going to keep doing that kind of thing.